Good morning, and welcome to all of those who are live streaming today. As usual, I love kids. As usual, I like to give the cameraman, a challenge, so I do this a lot, and I move around. See, there you go. And he's on it. So let's get this started. So in Center for Spiritual Living internationally, there's a yearly theme, and this year's theme is Everyday Wonder. And then every month there's a theme that's connected to Everyday Wonder. So this month, let me speak about Everyday Wonder. Everyday Wonder is exactly that. Taking the opportunity to look for something that brings in wonder. And here's the thing about life. That life is so good. Life is so good naturally that we are surrounded by things that not only are wonderful, but they are awesome. One of the things I like to say, if we're not in awe, we are not paying attention. If we're not in awe, we're not paying attention. 3 weeks ago, those flowers were not there, right? I mean, everything. We don't even have to look outside of ourselves. How about this? Take a breath, because without the breath, life is a little different. If we're not in awe over what life is giving us, then we are not paying attention. One of the things I love to really experience is waking up. Oh my God. I wake up going, number one, thank you for waking up. But number two, thank you for a good night's sleep. See, so then we get into the monthly theme. This month, the month of March, is about play. One of my favorite things to do. As a musician, musicians play, right? But it's so much more than that, right? It's about, so can Zach come out and play? Can Andrew come out and play? It's about really getting into the vibration of play. And this is what happens when we start to look at the wonder that we are surrounded by. We are surrounded by wonderful things that make you go, God, life is awesome. Life is awesome. If we're not in awe, we are not paying attention. So as we are traveling through this thing called life, this wonderful life, and now we're going to get into this thing called play, we have to have this balancing of rest and play. So today's talk, well, my title was and still is, All Work and No Play. Right? However, the theme for the month internationally is Happy Together. Now, back in the 1900s, there was a group, sounds weird, right? Back in the 1900s, there was a group called the Turtles, and they had a song called Happy Together. Some of you know where would it go, how it goes, right? And the second verse, imagine me and you, imagine me and you and me. No matter how we toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you and you for me. So happy together. But check out the first word in that verse. Imagine. Everyday wonder. Imagine what it would be like when we all start to play together. Yes, we have to rest. The body needs rest. That's why we are, again, just magnificently created. That's why there's night and day, right? So that the body can take the time to rest, because during the day, it's time to play. Yes, there's work to be done, but why not make the work play? Why not make the work play? Why not make the work play? So here we are, having this beautiful time together in coming together to play. Imagine what it would be like, my brothers and sisters, that our work is our play. I was watching a series a few weeks ago, and there was a line that said, because we always hear it like this, right? It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. This line was beautiful to me. The journey is the destination. Check that out. The journey is the destination, because the journey is always continuing. It's always continuing. I mean, I'm at my destination right now. Oh, and then right now. So when we talk about playing and getting there together, so happy together, we're all working, no play. When we're talking about all of that, we are talking about opening up. I love the words, this one word I heard 3 or 4 times today, talking about opening up and allowing ourselves to forgive ourselves, because the only way to really play in this playground called life is to forgive ourselves. Man, when I am holding on to some guilt and some shame about something that I perceived that was done to me, maybe it was done, but if I perceive that I'm not going to let that go because they owe me, or if I don't forgive myself for stuff that I've done or not done, how can I be then in the place to play? See, because life has given us everything. I've heard people say in the past, and maybe I've done this in the past, way back when, that life owes me something. Dag nabbit, life owes me. The world owes me a living. No, life owes us nothing. You know why? Because life has given us everything. How can I prove that? Take a breath. Once again, without that breath, life is not the same. So life has given us everything that we need, everything that we need. And so when we start to forgive ourselves for all of the mistakes that we've made, for all of the things that we've done and not done, for all of the things that we've said and not said, when we start to forgive ourselves, now we become that clear channel through which the divine as us gets to play as us. How cool is that? That's very cool, Eugene. I know, right? It is so very cool. But you know what happens? We have been miseducated, indoctrinated to separate ourselves. I was in a conversation. You're going to love this one, Kathleen. I was in a conversation last night about language and grammar, right? What could possibly go wrong with this? Or what possibly could go wrong? So, right? So somebody was saying, the way you say it is wrong. I'm like, who said? Well, so what happens is, and then as I began to contemplate that once I got home, I'm like, who said that it has to be said a certain way? We've been miseducated, and then I just went down this beautiful spiral about, so who said, it's the people who put themselves in charge that said, if you don't speak a certain way, you can't get into this job. If you don't speak a certain way, you can't get into this school or whatever it is, right? But who said? Who made them the boss? They're not the boss of me. Man, so I love to play with life because life has given us everything that we need. So here we are, happy together. Look at this. So when we start to forgive ourselves, when we start, see spirit, stop. When we start to forgive the news media for giving us stories that keep us in fear, when we start to forgive the news media that gives us stories that keep us in fear, now we are made vehicles and vessels to help with the healing of what's going on in the planet. What the world does not need is for more people to complain about what's going on. What the world needs is for us to stand boldly in our vibration of play and know the truth that even in the midst of this appearance, even in the appearances of all this crap that's going on, that there's good here. There's good here. And when we get stuck in the complaining about it, how can I see the good if I'm complaining? How can I experience the good when I've joined the bandwagon of, man, that person should be shot? I was talking with a client about stuff that's going on in Russia, and she said to me that the president of Russia, somebody should put a gun to his head. I'm like, whoa. And we just talked about peace. I'm sorry, didn't we just, 30 seconds ago, talk about peace? So we talked about that. It says, how can you want peace, but you're talking about this? See, this is a very serious place that we're wanting to stand on. We want to stand on this place of unconditional love. And unconditional love means loving that person no matter what, no matter what. Now that sounds, I love you unconditionally. Oh, I love you unconditionally. On the condition that you do this. On the condition that, we were talking about this last night, on the condition that you change. I love you just the way you are, but could you just change that? It takes courage to stand boldly on unconditional love. It takes courage to stand boldly and play from your authentic self. It took me years to allow myself to bring my authentic self out because I was afraid of being judged because I was only to be seen and not heard. So I didn't talk for so long, or I stuttered for most of my life, and I still do a little bit, but that's because I was afraid that what I would say would would rock the boat. Here's my thing now. Let's rock the boat. If the boat is not rocking, it is not moving. If the boat is not rocking, then it's sinking. Screw that. Did I just say that? Yes. So play, be your authentic self. We want to always remember to stand together. Over the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years, this center particularly have gone through and still going through some crazy changes. But this is what I know about change. Number one, change is the only thing that doesn't change. Thank God. Just the activity of breath is change. But if we are not accepting of the change, how do we grow? If we are not accepting of the change, we can't grow. Because I want to hold on to who I was. But who I was is not who I'm here to be. That's who I was. I'm not that man anymore. Thank God. Because that man was who he was. Right? So we want to stand happy together. Imagine me and you and me. Imagine no matter how they tossed the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you and you for me. So happy together. So what that really is saying is that we all get healed through community. Healing happens in community. Healing happens. This is the fullest that I've seen this room in a while. And I am so grateful, right? Why? Because all of you who are here, and those who are tuning in, love streaming, have dedicated your lives, have dedicated a part of yourself, whether consciously or not, to heal, to be a community. Right? I love playing with words. Community, common unity. There's a unity that you have in common here. And what that is about is growing. What that's about is loving to the max. A good mentor, a friend of mine, one of my practitioners, a minister who passed away a few years ago, and his thing was, I'm like, Reverend Nirvana, how are you? And his comeback every time was living and loving to the max. Now, after a while, me hearing them, I'm like, okay, dude, you can stop saying that. Until I caught it. Living and loving to the max. So imagine what it would be like, my brothers and sisters, to live and love to the maximum. What will it take to love to the maximum? Oh, it takes loving myself enough to let go of all the stuff that no longer serves me. How can I go out and play to let go of the stuff that keeps my legs stuck so I can't get to the playground? And that looks like they owe me an apology. How dare they talk about me like that? How dare me talk about me like that? You've heard me say about, going back to the media, let's not get sucked into and by the weapons of mass distraction. News media, we are being bombarded, and this has been going on for centuries, or at least for decades, where news is always, putting out stuff, right, that is intended to keep us in fear and also to keep us separated, right? So that's the weapons of mass distraction. That's one level of mass distraction that I talk about. But what about, and this is more powerful and subtle, what about the mass distraction that I'm thinking in my own head that looks like I'm not good enough? I will never succeed. I will never make enough money. These are distractions to who we are here to be. Who we are here to be. So, this is not a rhetorical question. This is not a rhetorical question. Let me repeat. This is not a rhetorical question. Who are you here to be? Me. What was that, Tom? Me. Yourself. Okay, great. Who are you here to be? Boom! Because that's who we are. Now, let's take it even deeper. Oh, you're going to love this question, right? You're going to love this one. Who are you here to be? Beloved. Who are you here to be? Kind. What was that? Kind. Kind. Out of the mouth of the child, right? Love that. Right? And the child will lead them. Who are you here to be? Living and loving to the max. Health. Is that what you said? Yourself. Yeah. Man, you got to be yourself because everybody else is taken. Right? That's not mine. Come on in. The water's fine. Who are you here to be? You are here to be the divine expression of the one. You are here to be your authentic self. You are here to be joy-filled. You are here to be your magnificent self. One of the things that, let me tell you something about Eugene. Eugene loves some Eugene. I love me some me, right? And this is what I see. So Eugene, that's my given name, but it really has expanded to capital EU, capital Genius, Eugenius. Now, I've had a mentor give me that name back in 2004. It took me 10 years to grow into it. It took me 10 years to accept my genius. So, accept your genius now. Who are you here to be? I am to be the greatest, magnificent person that I can be today in this moment. And then when we all do that, now we are living and moving and loving and having our being all the way to the max. Living and loving to the max. Now is the time to play. What the world needs, the world does not need, how me put this spirit, how we do that? What the world does not need is unhealed healers. No more of that. Somebody say, I worry about you. I don't need you to worry. What I need you to do is to love me. I worry about you. No, I get that. I get that. But love me. So, this month, this day, tomorrow, no, this moment, play. Play. Have fun. See, the vibration of play, the vibration of joy, they have figured out some way, I think they have too much time in their hands, is it calibrates at the same vibration as spirit. Woo-wee. And nothing vibrates any higher than unconditional love. And I'm going to close with this. In the New Testament of the Bible, they asked Yeshua Messiah. He said, "Oh, Rabbi, what is the greatest commandment?" He says, there are two. And the first commandment is to love the Lord thy God. And he was quoting the Old Testament, actually. It said to love the Lord thy God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, and your might. Catch that. Your heart, your mind, your soul, and your might, with everything that you have. And then the verse goes, and I love the way that this is written in the King James. And the second commandment is like unto the first. It's like the first one, is to love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? To love your neighbor as you love you. Now the question is, and your neighbor is not necessarily the person who lives next door. Your neighbor could be the job that you're working, right? But to love the neighbor as you love yourself. So the question is, how much do you really love yourself? Do you love yourself to let go of everything that no longer serves you? And the answer is yes. Do you love yourself enough to let yourself be free? Yes. Do you love yourself to laugh? Yes. Do you love yourself enough to feel the grief when you need to feel the grief? Yes. Do you love yourself enough to be yourself? Yes. Yes. So happy together. Yeah. So join me in this prayer. I've asked these beautiful musicians to assist me with this. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yeah. So I stand. I stand in the knowing that there is only one thing happening here, and that is the activity of spirit, the divine intelligence from which all things are created. I stand in the knowing that there is only one life, one power, one presence permeating itself, revealing itself in, through, and as everything that is seen and unseen, everything that is known and yet to be known, all that there is God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. Yes, I know that it is called by many names. Sometimes it is called God. Sometimes it is known as Allah. Sometimes it is known as Yahweh or Krishna or Voodoo or Oshun or it. No matter what it is called, we call it into our conscious awareness, recognizing that right where it is, we are. For there is no place where God is not. That love intelligence that creates all that there is revealing itself in, through, as you, me, and we. Right where we are, God is. Right here, right now, God is, we are. And so it is in my awareness of our oneness in God that I speak this word for the courage. Oh yeah, for the courage to stand boldly, to show up authentically, being that instrument through which God gets to live, move, have his being, and also to play in, through, and as us. And so I speak this word for the courage to open up, to allow God free reign of our lives, meaning that I surrender all of that little things, all those little things that no longer serve us. We let go. We have the courage to let go of everything that would seem to block us. We let go of all of those negative thoughts. We let go of all of those things that would seem to get in the way of our highest and greatest good, by which we are here to experience and to have it come through us in such beautiful and dynamic ways. Whew, how grateful I am for this love supreme. How grateful I am for the opportunity to look life squarely in its face and go, use me. Life, use me. For life has given us everything that we need. So now let's take what we have and let's just pick up our beds and let's walk in the divine divinity that we are. So for this, and for so much more than these words can ever convey, I remain forever grateful and thankful. It is from this space of gratitude and thanksgiving that I now release my word into the beautiful and dynamic activity of love and law, knowing that as I release my word into the law has no choice. It cannot help itself. It must take my words, mold, shape, blend, and then send these words back to us, not void, not empty, but absolutely and completely and abundantly and joyfully joyfully fulfilled. And so fulfilled, we lovingly allow it to be. And so it is. Amen.